Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on in to the PWTorch Fireside Chat for Monday, January 16th, 2023. Hello, hello, hello. I'm PWTorch Assistant Editor Zack Heydorn, coming to you live right here on the PWTorch YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody, for being with me. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We are here today on Monday to preview this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm chuckling inside because it's that this preview show is going to be interesting than more interesting than any of the other ones that we've done, because there's just not that much out there to preview at this point. And I suppose that may be the story in and of itself, and maybe the preview in and of itself. Hello to the chat. Dr. Ross, hi. Amos, hello. Azan, hello. Thank you for being with me. And everybody else who's joining in right at the moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and click subscribe on our YouTube channel. We've got brand new content every single day of the week. Last week was particularly busy with the Vince McMahon news that dropped. We also had some really cool interviews with Josh Alexander and Mickie James. Both walked out of Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill as champions. So pretty cool to have interviewed them last week in the week that we did. So you can check that out. We're live every day. As I mentioned, Monday for Raw, Tuesday for NXT, Wednesday for Dynamite. Our flagship show, the Fireside Chat, is on Thursdays with myself and Tyler Sage. And, you know, everything else that happens, we cover here on the show in a reasonable time. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. And I started the show off by chuckling a little bit about Monday Night Raw and the fact that this is a preview show. Raw is just about, I guess, let's see here, just under 4 hours away, about 3.5 hours away. And here we are, guys, without anything really to preview. One thing that WWE is promoting right now is the return of Bobby Lashley to the show, and that he's back for revenge, for retribution, you know, what have you. Like, he's back, and what's he gonna do? Like, that's on the site. So what is going to happen with Bobby Lashley? I suppose that's the question. I think, obviously he's on a collision course with Austin Theory and the United States Championship match or title. We know that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. So I'm sure there's going to be some developments there. Steven, you're killing me, man. Oh, yes, Retribution's long gone. You're right. Thankfully, right? Good call. But I mean, so Lashley's back, and call me crazy, but that's not like, I don't know. That's just not like a selling point for like, hey, watch Raw tonight because Bobby Lashley's back. I mean, that's big news. I like Bobby Lashley, but if you're not promoting what he might do, or the match that he's going to be in, or that he's going to talk about winning the Royal Rumble, or that he's going to talk about winning the United States Championship, it's like, do you even know what he's going to be doing out there? And that's what this type of promotion seems like to me. It's like, hey, Bobby Lashley's going to be on the show. We have to promote something, but we don't know what it is quite yet. So just tune in for Lashley. And it's like, man, this is one of the biggest acts that you have on your show in a Cody Rhodes-less world. When he is on the shelf, it's Lashley and Seth, I think, are two top names. And so when Lashley's coming back, it's like, I think you've got to give him a little bit more juice than that. I like what they did with Lashley last week. I like the fact that he comes back, immediately addresses the situation that he left in, concerning the U.S. Championship, immediately declares for the biggest match that's upcoming in the Royal Rumble, and that he's going to win it and move on to WrestleMania, and set up at the same time kind of like the side story with the Hurt Business. He was approached last week about, kind of rejoining MVP and getting the band back together as far as the Hurt Business goes. So he's got his hands in a lot of different jars, in terms of what he can do. And I like that. I just want it to seem like WWE is promoting the guy. and not just like, oh, he's going to be on the show. Just we don't know yet though. Like that's the troubling part to me. I think they have laid a good foundation, and now they need to build on it. And it's like it seems like they spent a week, not building on it. As far as Dr. Ross's question in the chat here, is Bobby Lashley more suited to be a heel or a face in this run? I think he's good in either role, and that's not hedging. That's just that's just reality. Like he's shown and proven to be good in either role, and right now, I think they need him as a babyface. Like whether you like him better as a babyface or a heel, I think you can acknowledge the fact that they need strong babyfaces on Raw right now. I mean, they have Seth Rollins, and then it's Bobby Lashley. Like, I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting some names, but in terms of like big name guys, Lashley can really carry that torch. And, I was in the building for Hell in a Cell earlier this year in June, and I was taken aback by the reaction to Bobby Lashley. Like, it was that strong, and that, like, not just strong in terms of loud, but like passionate, where people really wanted to see Bobby Lashley win the match and just be a guy. And like that stood out. And like he seems to have a genuine connection with the audience right now that I would run with, because there's not that many people in WWE that have that type of connection to the fans. And Steven, this is a good point. I don't think he's been a good heel in WWE without MVP. Well, yeah, we haven't seen it, right? I mean, he was a good heel in TNA, like for sure. And I think he could certainly find that again. And I think he could be a good heel without MVP. But yeah, the two were together for that run. And so I think it's hard to separate the two, but just because he was with MVP and he was a heel doesn't mean he'd be a bad heel on his own, I guess would be my point. So the Lashley's got some good things going on, but I would protect him as a big time star. And I think if he goes out there tonight and like talks like he's going to win the Royal Rumble, that gets a thumbs up. Like that's good stuff. I mean, that is the biggest match that's on the horizon for anybody that's in it, technically, given the stakes that are on the line. And to have Lashley, who is definitely a credible contender for the world title, in that match and talking about it like it's a big deal, I mean, that's going to be good business. So I hope it's as simple as that. If they get a little more complicated with it and they get a little deeper with it, I mean, you could go, do some kind of angle with Theory and Bobby Lashley. I think that's Theory's at a position right now where, to me, say what you want about Theory, but to me, he's one of the most intriguing acts on the show on a regular basis. I mean, like, the guy's cut good promos, he's had good matches, and he's working with the top talent. Like, that's, to me, that and on top of that, he's succeeded in doing that. Like, he's come across like he belongs in those situations. So I think Lashley and him kind of going head to head would be an interesting proposition. Even on the microphone, I think it would be cool to see. So that's my guess is what we get. Yeah, Kevin Owens is on Raw. You're right, he is. I just, for some reason, when he's in the Bloodline story with Roman Reigns, it's just like SmackDown. But yeah, he is a Raw guy. That's true. Let's see. Let's go through this. Oh, Amos, I appreciate you checking in on me, man. I definitely do. Have you been able to finally catch your breath at the craziness of last week? Yes, we have been able to catch our breath a little bit. We hope we did. We hope we did you guys proud, as far as not just the fact that we were covering the Vince McMahon news and the Stephanie news and the WWE sales stuff. Not just that we were covering it, but how we were covering it. I hope, again, I hope we made you guys proud. It means a lot that we did. And so hopefully you guys feel the same way. But thank you, Amos, for checking in. I do appreciate that. Let's keep going here. Through the chat. Where the hell is Tommaso Ciampa? Don't know. I mean, he's hurt. I know that he had an injury. But man, he's the kind of guy that I think would give like extra depth to Monday Night Raw. Like, I don't think Tommaso Ciampa is going to be in a position to win the Royal Rumble or become world champion, but he's a strong enough talent where I think he could enhance just the middle of that card, like the beginning of the third hour type stuff, where it's like, oh, I'm going to turn this off. I just don't know if I can deal with. I don't know if I can deal with another hour of Raw. Oh, here's Ciampa. Like, yeah, it's worth sticking around for to get to the main event. Like, I think he has, he's got that kind of cachet. And so the fact that he hasn't been able to be on the show regularly, it hurts him. Who knows how many years he has left, but it hurts the show. I think he has a lot to give as far as the depth of the show goes. So, okay, let's go to Hunter Iggy with a question. PWTorch, Pro Wrestling Torch. Do you think Triple H and Vince McMahon can coexist in the same creative? Well, they sure used to be able to, they both had a hand in it, Triple H indirectly, but always around, or not always, but for a while anyway, around the creative. And of course, Iggy's talking about rumors of McMahon kind of being back in the office and, giving some suggestions or recommendations to Triple H as far as creative goes. That's the precipice for this question, I'd imagine, Hunter. So just let me know if I'm off base. But so yeah, can they coexist? Sure, they can. However, the situation this time around is very different from what it was even 7 months ago. Like, Triple H was in the role of chief content officer. He's the head of creative now, not Vince McMahon. Now, that's in name only because Vince is, the executive chairman of the board, and it's his company, and we know that, right? We know the situation there. So of course it gets a little muddied. Sean Ross Sapp reported today that talent was told that Triple H, Paul Levesque, is still very much the head of creative. So that's what talent is told, for whatever that's worth to you. But I mean, yeah, can they coexist? Yes. The question is how much freedom is Vince McMahon going to give Triple H, or how much is he going to maintain that freedom, Triple H, that is? Like, that's the question. If Vince McMahon starts crawling back and wants to grab a hold onto this and hold on to that, like, I don't think Triple H is going to be in a position to want to deal with that at this point, given that he's already done it pretty successfully on his own for the last 6 months. If it is just a situation where Vince McMahon is strictly making recommendations and suggestions, and the final say is with Hunter, then I think that's fine. I mean, I don't think that's fine. It'd be better if it was just Triple H, but I think that it's fine from the perspective of they can coexist in that environment where Triple H has the ultimate final say, period. That can work. It's when Vince starts, grabbing a hold of it. That's when you're going to see potential issues start to form. Yes, Dr. Ross. If that happened, I was thinking when I was watching SmackDown last week that if Braun Strowman gets the win over Gunther, like, we'll know who's ultimately like pulling the strings backstage. And same thing here. If the 24/7 title all of a sudden shows up out of nowhere, well, I think we're going to have our answer as to just how much Vince McMahon is in charge of creative. So yeah, let's hope not. Yeah. Amos, thank you. You were sure not saying anything about the Saudi rumor until everything settled down. Was very admirable. I appreciate that. That's what we were going for. We wanted to make sure we had it right. Whether that came at the expense of having it first or not, correct information is the key. So thank you for noticing that and commenting on that. I appreciate it. So the only other thing that's promoted for Monday Night Raw tonight is the Judgment Day. They will be taking on Alpha Academy. Last week, the Judgment Day became #1 contenders to the undisputed tag team titles. The Usos hold those belts right now. We don't know when they're going to have that match. So this is a tune-up match for Alpha Academy. I don't love this. I don't love this pairing of the Judgment Day and the Usos. And I talked a little bit about it over the weekend, and I talked a little bit about it last week on the SmackDown preview show here on the YouTube channel. I just think you're not gonna get like a universal hated reaction for the Bloodline in this situation, and to me, it's confusing because they're in for some big heel business upcoming, whether that's with Cody Rhodes or whether that's with Sami Zayn or whether that's with The Rock. Like, they need to be heels, and they need to be like serious heels. And right now you have them going up against a team like Judgment Day with Dominic Mysterio, and he's doing the whole thing with jail and whatnot. That's great stuff, but it's heel stuff for sure. And the Bloodline looks infinitely cooler opposite the Judgment Day. So I'm not sure how this is going to go over. I think Alpha Academy, as Dr. Ross chimes in here, turn and face. We saw hints of that last week with Otis in particular, like kind of tuning up the worm, and I think that can work. I mean, I think they've kind of done their time as heels, and if you wanted to stick with them as heels long term down the road, you could. There's still depth there, but I mean, both those guys I think are fundamentally likable too. Otis, Gable, they play off each other well. They've got a connection with the fans. Like, you can flip them. What you don't want is to just keep flipping them back and forth. That will be frustrating to have to see and have to manage on a regular basis. So I think tonight it could work. Judgment Day, clear heels. And it's just a matter of where they go, because you just don't want the Judgment Day bringing out the babyface side of the bloodline, because we're in it, guys, right? I mean, we are in it. Like, we're on the, I don't want to be like, WWE corporate here, but we're on the path to WrestleMania. Like, it's on the horizon. And now more than ever, like, the positioning of these talents and these acts for the build to that show is the most important thing that's going to happen this year. And so I'm curious as to why, they go why they went that direction, with the Judgment Day. And we'll see, I suppose. But it remains to be seen, and I still think that's an issue. Ashley, hello, thanks for joining us, and thank you for the comments on the hair. Hey guys, won't be able to stay long, but hope everybody had a good weekend. We did. Hopefully you did as well. Appreciate the comment on the hair. Yes, I had some other things to do today where my usual Bulls hat just wasn't going to cut it as far as proper attire. So so thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. Let's get to your comment here, though, about Raw. Dominic and Rhea are the best thing on Raw right now. Hard to argue with that. I won't argue with that, because I think that there's a lot of truth in it. Like, they're so darn entertaining. And Rhea Ripley, I mean, this pairing with Dominic, like, say what you will about Dominic. Yes, he needs to improve in the ring. Yes, he needs to improve on the mic. But what he's being asked to do out there, he's delivering on. And if nothing else, if Dominic does nothing else in his career in WWE, which I don't think is going to be the case, but let's just say that it is, what he's done for Rhea Ripley is significant. Like, it's created it's helped create, what's not entirely on his shoulders. It's mainly on Rhea Ripley's shoulders, but he's been a part of Ripley's kind of reintroduction to the main roster. You think about where she was over the summer, and she's tag teaming with Nikki ASH, no direction and not a lot of confidence in her presentation. And man, now fast forward, she's on a short list of talent that can win the Women's Royal Rumble. And to me, like, Dominic's a part of that. And that alone is a good legacy, depending on, obviously, where Rhea Ripley goes, but he's been a central force in helping recreate her act. And so I think, again, no matter what else he does, that should be something that he's remembered for in in a very positive way. That's it, guys. That's all there is to preview tonight. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, obviously they got 3 hours to fill, so we're going to get more. But yeah, it's kind of it's interesting, kind of that this is where we're at, and it's going to spark rumors. It's definitely going to spark rumors of like, oh, they're changing the show at the last minute. Vince is back. I mean, I can't corroborate or not corroborate any of that at this moment, but I can tell you that as of right now, that's all that there is. I'm hyped for Raw tonight. So we'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much. I will be back tomorrow. We will talk Raw, and actually kind of recap everything that went down. And we will also preview NXT tomorrow as well, coming out of the New Year's Evil show from last week. So more fun to be had here on the PWTorch YouTube channel. Thanks to everybody. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amos. Thank you, Dr. Ross, Steven, Sean. I see you in there. Appreciate it, man. Azan, thank you very much. Be here tomorrow. Be here the rest of the week, you guys. If you're new to the channel and checking us out for the first time, subscribe. We've got new content every single day, live, as well as a multitude of other things. So keep it locked here. PWTorch YouTube channel. I'm PWTorch Assistant Editor Zack Heydorn. Thank you guys very much. We'll catch you all next time. See you.